and just doesn't have that opportunity, and that would be a shame.
Okay. Well, our third question asks how implementing the STEM Academy at Masuk would impact the operation of the school. Last year, the district was unsuccessful in implementing an 8th grade academy. What variables might allow us to successfully establish a STEM academy as early as next September? Anyone want to respond to that question?
I think there's a couple of key differences. Last year, the 8th grade academy was a perceived requirement because of the closing of Chalk Hill. I think this year we have a different situation. This year we have a choice, and I really like to present it that way. Parents aren't being forced to send their kid to a school. You're given an opportunity because of the closing of Chalk Hill to either send your child to Jockey Hollow STEM Academy or Jockey Hollow main campus. So I think right off the bat, it's a more positive premise versus saying your kid's going to have to go here next year. We're giving parents a choice to make that.
Will there be any tactical disruptions where how do we schedule this group of academy students to be using the laboratory facilities? And will that complicate the high school labs? Or what other kind of disruptions or problems, if you'd rather use that word, can you foresee just bringing arbitrarily another 150 to 200 students into this building, just as a physical facility?
Right. There are definitely some logistical issues, but the bulk of those things I think we've considered. For example, something as simple as staggering the schedule. So although the students will be at Masuk, they will not be on the exact same class schedule. They'll be staggered about 10 minutes later. So Masuk students presumably will be in their period 1 class, then the STEM Academy students will be using the hallway. Most of the classrooms that we foresee using are going to be down in the new wing. So it's where the Jockey Hollow Academy, the 8th grade academy, was going to be held. So again, we realize that there's going to be times where students are going to interact with high school students, and some of those will be positive things. We want kids to be part of this building in a sense, but not every period, not every day. For example, they're going to be using the cafeteria for lunch, but we can use a different wave. So we can send it as a period 4 wave, for example, for lunch period. Other facilities probably will be used. Right now, we do have some students that go in from Jockey Hollow and take advantage of the 9th grade geometry class. So there are some students in the building already. We recognize there are going to be some areas where we're going to have to share spaces, but we see that as being pretty minimal as far as interaction between the two groups.
As two students who have dealt with some of our congestion issues and have just physical situations here at Masuk, what is your take on the obstructions or the problems we may have to tactically deal with to resolve our needs?
Well, staggering the schedule, just as Mr. Schmidt had just commented on, would be one of the ideas, so you wouldn't have every single student every single teacher letting out all their classes at the same time. Obviously, we can't gate off the STEM Academy from the main building, so we can't keep them always in that place. So there will be interaction, but we will have to limit it, because we can't have Masuk students or STEM students be disrupted with their learning with kids in passing time. So they really need to maximize the space available in this building and minimize the interaction between the students.
I mean, I would think adjusting to here for a 6th grader particularly could be a big step for them. Natalie, any thoughts?
Well, I feel like we're still going to face a lot of the issues that we were facing with, 8th grade academy last year. Even though it's not as many students as we expected last year, there's still going to be the problem of what are the teachers going to do from the C hallway, and like how will the shifting of the classes work, and then we already have problems with like computer labs a lot of the times and just things like that. But I mean, in terms of how many people are going to be in this school, that's just going to increase. Okay. So that's obviously going to be the first
Are we going to have to be able to budget for more equipment?
My understanding is that the budget, the expenses of the STEM Academy will come from the savings garnered from closing down Chalk Hill. So I don't know the details of where the budget's going to be coming from and how that's going to be handled, but my understanding is that it's not going to be, there's a perception that we're buying a lot of new stuff, and we certainly are going to purchase some materials. For example, one of the things Natalie mentioned was computer labs. We recognize at Masuk that computer labs are being shared. That's a commodity we need to recognize. In the science department at Masuk, we have laptop carts that we've used very successfully in class. And I think the motivation there, or the tack for next year, is to look at using more of those laptop carts. So as opposed to taking STEM kids down to an existing Masuk computer lab, those kids can do the same sort of activities using laptop carts.
Well, let me just ask finally, is there a closing comment that either of you or all of you would like to offer as we conclude our discussion. Mike, is there any you would like to provide in closing?
Yeah, I think that the STEM Academy, if it is well thought out and, the teachers, the staff that is provided is very excited and very enthusiastic to teach these kids, I think it'll be a positive impact on the Monroe community. And I really wish that this was actually around when I went through middle school, because I think, going into college, looking at engineering, it would have been an incredible boost to my understanding of the field.
What are your thoughts, Natalie?
Yeah, I agree with Mike. You definitely want to see a way to apply your favorite subjects in real life, and I just think this is going to be a very good program once everything is straightened out. I mean, maybe the first year there will be some rough patches, but if we get this rolling, then it could potentially turn into a very, very good thing.
Well, Mr. Schmidt, would you like to share a comment? And or do you think that a difference would be made once we know who the faculty of the STEM will be?
Yeah, that's kind of a key thing. I think everybody recognizes that parents want to obviously make the best decision for their kids, and we share that. We're all in the same boat. As soon as possible, we'd like to identify those teachers. There's a process we have to go through by posting positions and taking applications, but we want to get interested faculty out to the public as soon as possible so parents can make an informed decision. I think most of us who are involved in math and science and these types of careers are very excited. Like Mike said, I think back to all the students I've had previous to this that would have really benefited by having this sort of focus. I think we do a great job either way, but this is kind of an opportunity, and it came about because of a closing of the school. And this may be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for this district. If it doesn't happen this year, it may not happen. And I would feel kind of unfortunate that we didn't take advantage of this, because, and you're right, there's definitely some issues we have to work out, but I think the people involved in this are very committed to making it work. We want to hear questions from the public. We want to hear people's comments so that we can try to fix those things before we start getting the school up and running.
Natalie, I think I heard you in my ear say, what is it? There's something you'd like to add to what Mr. Schmidt has said, just as a closing statement?
Well, I mean, it's kind of like a good thing out of a bad thing. The fact that we have to close a school, that this academy is coming out of it, I mean, we should look at that as a good opportunity. Something negative is happening, but also it's allowing us to possibly make this change. So I think we should take advantage of that.
Well, can you see it from a broader perspective? Will this have any downside to it in terms of impacting the other academic subjects that we teach? Will it become injurious to the music program at the middle school? Or, are there any downsides when we look at the totality of the curricula and the school?
Again, I think you're right. I mean, that's the first perception of people, is that if you're taking these kids here, then they're going to miss out on something. And again, I go back to it's really a question of choice. If a student says, I like the focus on math and science, and I like this method of learning, if I like learning by inquiry and by integration, then this is something I'm going to consider. Now, we're still going to include areas of music and PE. We're going to still have every student taking the CMTs, just like the Jockey Hollow Man campus. So we're teaching the same curriculum, but we're teaching the same content strands, but we're teaching it in a different method. And that's really the way I'd like to look at it. Again, we try to really push it as two equally excellent programs that arrive at Masuk by different paths. So, and that's, again, if parents have specific questions about their child, saying, my kid likes this, this, and this, then, again, we encourage you to come to that meeting on the 30th, ask your questions, and we'll try our best we can to get all the information out to all the parents as soon as possible.
Well, one way or another, we're certainly facing an opportunity of change, and hopefully people will be calm and look at it from an open perspective, because it's going to create a lot of adjustments for the first year, and we'll have to adapt, and I think that's going to be the key, is can we initiate this program with adaptability so that the second year it's in motion, should it all come to pass, we can upstep that efficiency and make it something even better for the students at large. Well, unfortunately, we'll have to conclude our discussion on that note. On behalf of the Masuk Report, I want to thank our panelists and you, our audience, for sharing in this discussion. We all hope this show has opened the door for good discussion within our community, and we look forward to you joining us in the next edition of the Masuk Report. Good day, good luck. I'm Carl Bodner, your host. I look forward to speaking with you again.